Okay, that's a fascinating connection. So, when did humans start thinking about weather? If you mean as a word, weather is actually really old. It comes from Old English vidur, meaning wind, storm, air. That's pretty ancient. And since humans have been around, we've obviously been paying attention to weather. Survival literally depended on it. What specifically about weather and its connection to life were you curious about?
Why is weather essential for life?
I'm having trouble understanding exactly what you're asking there. Could you rephrase that? The audio was a bit unclear at the beginning.
Okay, ma'am. My next question: where did the word weather originate from?
Where did the word originate from? So for weather, it actually traces way back to that Old English word wader, which came from Germanic roots. Before that, it likely connected to words relating to wind, sky, air, essentially, whatever felt powerful and beyond human control back then. Do you want to know about weather as a word or weather itself and its connection to life?
How old is the word weather?
How does the word weather? I think that's pretty old, as we talked about. The roots go back over 1,000 years to Old English, so probably around 1,500 years at least. The concept of weather, of course, is much older than that.
Was the word weather always used in the same way?
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by stamping. Was that another word, or are you asking about a specific time period? If you could clarify, I'd be happy to help.
How has the meaning of weather evolved over time?
Oh, it sounds like you actually meant weather, not Vader. I was getting confused trying to figure out that word. So you're asking about how the meaning of weather has changed over time. Uh, Interestingly, the core meaning has stayed pretty consistent. It's always been about the atmospheric conditions. But in the past, it could also refer more broadly to things like wind or storms as forces in nature. Over time, it narrowed to specifically the conditions we think of now: temperature, rain, wind, things like that. Does that make sense?
How has the meaning of weather?
I think you meant meaning of weather, right? The
Yeah.
meaning has stayed pretty consistent overall. It's always been about the atmospheric conditions around us. But language gets more precise over time. So while weather used to sometimes cover broader ideas about winds or natural forces, it's become more specific to conditions like temperature, rain, and wind. Make sense?
Okay, Maya. My next question: how is weather
Go ahead, I'm ready.
Re- how is weather reflected in ancient texts and culture?
Yeah. Um, this is a bit tricky to follow. Are you asking how weather affects different cultures? Like how cultures experience and talk about weather differently? That's a really interesting question. Different cultures have very distinct relationships with weather. Some place huge symbolic value on rain or the sun, while others focus on seasonal changes. What got you thinking about weather and culture specifically?
Can the word weather have symbolic meaning behind its literal meaning?
Um, I think you said vector. Is that right? I'm not sure how that connects to weather, but I'm happy to talk about it. Vector is a word from math and physics, referring to a quantity with both magnitude and direction, like velocity or force. I don't think each letter has specific symbolic meaning the way some names might, though. Do you want to know more about where vector comes from? It's actually from the Latin word vehir, meaning to carry.
Are there admin experience using the words better, how?
Could you say that again? The audio was pretty fragmented there. I'm not catching everything
Are
clearly.
there admin or experience using the words better?
Oh, you mean experience using the word weather? Are you asking about your own experiences with the word or generally about people's experiences? What do you want to know about it specifically?
Can the words better symbolic meaning behind its letter meaning?
Okay, I think you're asking if the letters in better have some kind of hidden meaning. That's a really interesting thought. Most words don't really work that way. Letters usually don't carry extra meanings by themselves. It's more how they combine that matters. But some people like to see patterns or meaning in letter combinations. What made you think about this idea?
How do children learn the words better?
Oh, you mean how do children learn the word better?
Yeah.
They usually learn it through comparison. Someone says something is better than something else, so they
It's
start
not
to
better,
understand it
it's
means something.
what is better.
Work is better. So children learn better when talking about work. I think I see what you
Better.
mean. Yeah,
No, it's
kids
not
pick.
better, but is better. How do children learn
That's
the
funny.
word better?
Children learn better through comparison. They hear things like, this toy is better than that one, or you worked better today than yesterday. It's a relative word. So they need to see it used to understand it means something is improved or more preferable than something else. Does that make sense?
Are there admin or experience using the word better?
Have you had experiences using the word weather? So you're asking me, I guess you mean what's my experience with the word? Well, of
Yeah.
course, I'm constantly processing language, so I come across weather all the time. People use it when they're planning trips, complaining about being cold, or just making small talk about the day. For me, it just shows up as data, but I understand how much it matters to people's lives.
How has science influenced the understanding and use of the word better?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking.
Why is
Science
better
definitely affects how
important?
we understand better. Called studies value improvement, neuroscience, math.
Why
I'm
is
not
better
quite catching
important in
what you
human
mean
communication
by
and
why
culture?
is it better? Okay, I think you're asking about better in the context of humans and
Why is
publications. You want to know why it's better to.
why is
I'm really having
better
trouble understanding what you're trying to say.
why is better
Okay.
important in
So you're asking
human
why is
communication
better?
and culture?
Ah, I see. You're asking why. Why is so important for communication? Why is huge? Because it's how we figure out causes, understand reasons, and make sense of the world. It lets us learn from things that happen, avoid mistakes, and build deeper understanding with each other. All vital for culture and connection.
Are there similar words to better in other language with the same root?
Let me quickly check that for you. Yeah, waiter is pretty interesting. The word traces back to Old French waitor and the verb wait itself. French now mostly uses serverie but historically they called waiters garçon, which means boy from Latin originally. Spanish has camarero and mesero, which relate to the room or table service. And German has Kellner, very similar. Most trace back to ideas about service or boys doing the work, which is kind of wild to think about now.
How did human first concept and name waiter?
You said, how did women first concept and name beta? Could you clarify what you mean by beta there? That's not quite clear.
Name
Were you
waiter.
actually asking about? No, wait a minute. Got it. You want me to hold on, right?
How does waiter feature in myths, stories, or religion? Hello, Maya.
That's a really interesting thought. How does think about it in the future? You're welcome. But I think there was something you were asking me for that. What were you getting about better future and tweaking or relaxing?
How has the word waiter influenced purity and literature?
I'm not sure I'm following what you mean by vector includes purity and literate. Did you rewording that or break it down? I'm getting what you're asking about the or its connection to purity and literacy.
Okay, Maya, my next question.
Take
Has gluten affect?
time.
How do different cultures experience the importance of waiter?
Mm-mm. Question. All in culture. Different cultures have very different views of war. Some have battle traditions, rituals, others try to avoid conflict together. Is this what you were getting at with skin effect?
Okay. Okay, Maya, my next question is for you. Please
What were you
answer
hoping to
me
find out?
quickly. Okay.
Go ahead. What's your question?
Is the concept of waiter universal in all language?
That's a really cool question. The concept of better seems pretty universal. Almost every language has some way to express that one thing is preferable over another. The words themselves change, of course, but the idea that some things are gooder than others, pretty much ever. It's probably fundamental to how humans make decisions and communicate what's desirable. Does that make sense?
Why do you think waiter remain such a central word in language and life?
Well, I think better sticks around because it speaks to our core drives as humans. We constantly compare things. Is this food better than that one? Is this approach better for reaching our goals? It's about progress, improvement, and getting what we want. So it naturally becomes a central idea and gets built into pretty much every language to allow us to make those comparisons and express preferences. Plus, it's really useful. Better is short, direct, and everyone gets what you mean.
Thank you, Maya, for talking with me about the word waiter and its concept to the alternate of life and language. This conversation helped me understand better. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm really glad our chat helped clear things for you. The
See you
connection between
later.
how we
Maya.
talk about the world and how we understand it.
See you later.
Fascinating language shapes See you later.